It was the kind of quiet Wednesday draped in a soft fog, the kind of day that passes unnoticed, gentle and forgettable. My boots squished with every step through rain-kissed puddles, the wrong choice for weather like this. A mutual friend had set up a lunch meetup at a bustling diner, full of chatter and the rhythmic clink of cutlery and dishes, the kind of chaos that felt comforting. He wasn't leading the conversation, not the loudest voice in the room, but his laughter cut through the noise, unfiltered and real, and somehow it held my attention. His name was Liam. There was no effort to impress, no rehearsed charisma. He simply listened. Not just heard, listened, with a quiet attentiveness that felt rare. I told him stories about my life, small things, random memories, and he absorbed them, never breaking focus. A few days later, a message came through from him, a photo of a keychain shaped like a beagle with a simple caption, "Thought of you." It was unexpectedly sweet. I smiled, though I brushed it off. Not because I didn't feel something. I did, but because that feeling stirred something I wasn't ready to face. I had just stepped out of a relationship that burned bright and fast, only to fade into emotional exhaustion. No drama, no explosions. Just a slow erosion that left me wary and emotionally threadbare. So when Liam entered, consistent, real, without masks, I froze. My heart didn't know what to do with that kind of tenderness. But he never pushed. He stayed present. Little gestures, a message asking how my day went, a song he thought I'd enjoy. Nothing flashy, nothing designed for attention, just small things that felt sincere. Eventually, I said yes to dinner. We went to this intimate little bistro downtown, the air rich with herbs and laughter. He opened doors, pulled out my chair, and kept his phone away like I mattered more than anything else. It was seamless. Too seamless, maybe. I wasn't used to love without tension, without decoding mixed signals, without feeling like I had to constantly repair something. With Liam, things just flowed. And that scared me. We kept seeing each other. Not on a schedule, just whenever it felt right. But I kept part of myself hidden. When he tried to get closer, I'd crack a joke, steer the conversation elsewhere, tuck the vulnerable parts of me away. He noticed. Of course he did. One night, walking back from dinner, he stopped mid-step, met my eyes, and said gently, "You don't need to protect yourself around me. I'm not here to hurt you." I gave him a half-hearted smile and said nothing. Not because I didn't want to believe him, but because I couldn't. I'd heard similar promises before. None had lasted. Then came the evening I shut the door for good. He had chosen this rooftop spot, beautifully strung with soft lights, music dancing on the breeze, the skyline blinking behind us. He asked about my week, and as I spoke, he watched me like every word mattered. Then came a pause, one of those quiet, heavy moments made for truth. He leaned in and said, "I care about you. A lot." Panic welled up. I turned away, gave a nervous laugh, took a sip of wine just to fill the silence. "You're amazing, Liam, really. But I'm not ready." I said it kindly, tried to cushion it with a smile, but I saw it hit him. His eyes lost a bit of their light. His posture shifted, like bracing for a blow. He nodded, offered a small, polite smile that barely masked the hurt. He waved down the waiter. No scene. No pleading. Just quiet acceptance. He paid, stood, and looked at me one last time. "Take care of yourself," he said. And then he walked away. I stayed at the table, staring at my untouched glass, convincing myself I'd done the right thing. I wasn't ready. He deserved someone who could show up fully. Someone who wasn't still haunted. But deep down, I wasn't questioning Liam. I was questioning myself. He'd seen parts of me I hadn't even accepted. And instead of letting that in, I chose the safe route, to push him away with gentle hands. I told myself I was protecting him. But truthfully, I was protecting me. From being known. From being loved too easily. From accepting something I didn't think I'd earned. That night, I checked my phone. No new messages. I scrolled through our old chats, the memes, the sweet little check-ins, the sleep well texts that felt like warm hands reaching through the dark. They felt like home. The next morning, nothing. Not blocked. Just gone. I wanted to say something. Anything. But what was left to offer? That I didn't mean it. I had. In that moment, I truly believed I wasn't capable of showing up the way he needed. Maybe I still wasn't. But readiness isn't something that arrives on its own. It's something you choose. And I didn't choose him. Days passed. Then weeks. Then months. I went on dates. Met people who made me laugh. Some who sparked brief thrills. But none who made me feel safe the way Liam did. And I learned, safety isn't boring. It's rare. One afternoon, picking up groceries, I spotted him across the street. He was holding someone else's hand. She looked at him the way I never could, with open warmth, unafraid. He looked lighter. Happier. And it hit me, he hadn't waited. He'd moved on. Found someone who didn't hesitate when love showed up. I never reached out. Not because I didn't want to, but because I knew she saw what I struggled to. She didn't weigh his worth. She welcomed it. Sometimes, people don't leave because they stop loving you. They leave because they realize they'll never be loved the way they love you. And that hurts more than goodbye. So if you ever sit across from someone who truly sees you, and your first instinct is to retreat because it feels unfamiliar, too steady, too safe, pause. Don't run. Don't let fear masquerade as unreadiness. Saying, "I'm not ready," is often just fear wearing a mask. Saying, "You're amazing," can be the softest way of saying goodbye. I told Liam he was amazing. I told him I wasn't ready. He smiled barely, paid the bill and walked away.